The ancient Silk Road. Vast, extreme, yet invaluable to the empires of the East and West. The trade of the luxurious silk fabric changed the course of human history, creating a world beyond our wildest imagination.
Now, a new Silk Road arises, unleashing the power of innovation, transforming all in its path, building a web of connections, uniting nations old and new. I'm Denise Keller.
The structure alone is the symbol of the human spirit.
And I'm Liam Bates.
Goodbye, world!
We're going on the adventure of a lifetime, from Xi'an to Istanbul, and the cities in between, to learn about the old Silk Road with a new Chinese generation.
就是各种想法、设计、历史、文化碰撞的这么一个地方。
While finding out what its future could look like.
This is the story of a new Silk Road.
那我们走吧。
This is Expedition X.
Rich in history, diverse. At one time, the richest city in the world, Xi'an was the eastern starting point of the ancient Silk Road. One of the first places to prosper from trade between the Chinese Empire and the West.
This is probably what people would have seen, you know, like at the end of the Silk Road. This was the heart of China.
This is basically the story where it all begins, isn't it?
The ancient Silk Road spanned China, Central Asia, and went as far as India and Europe, an early form of globalization. Now, the past is converging with the future on the Silk Road. Historic routes are being upgraded with innovation. Old alliances strengthen for new trade and exchange. Xi'an is in the center of it all.
It's one of the few places, I think, along the Silk Road where you see really obvious sort of remnants of that cultural integration.
I was born in Switzerland, but I've been a dedicated student of Chinese culture for over 10 years. I'm blown away by how a Silk Road icon like Xi'an is transforming into a global megalopolis. Traditional caravans give way to modern transportation. This Chinese generation are more mobile than ever before and want to explore the world, like the convoy of the Destination X tour.
The cavalry.
Ready to roll out.
These adventurers are driving the Silk Road, famous for its trade, but also its stunning and extraordinary landscape. From Xi'an, they will explore the deserts of western China before reaching Istanbul in Turkey.
我们其实走的这条路线应该是丝绸之路嘛。我们如果重新走这条路，相当于我们在学习古人那种不断探索的那种精神，坚持不懈的精神。
As the convoy prepares to move out, I go on ahead to check out their final destination, Istanbul. Shaped by the great Roman civilization and the all-conquering Ottoman Empire, Istanbul overcame war and disruption to become one of the world's first truly cosmopolitan cities. Born of Singaporean and German parents, I've always been attracted to the city's East-West DNA.
This is my second time in Istanbul, and I have to say that I never get sick of the city because it has this pulse. There's a uniqueness, obviously, in its identity. They don't have the borders to explain, oh, I belong here, I belong there. And that is what principally draws me to its culture, and it draws me to want to know more about them.
I'm curious to find out how this ancient city is adapting to a Silk Road on the rise. Back in China, Liam is discovering how places like Xi'an and Istanbul are inspiring new cities on a 21st century Silk Road.
Located on the upper reaches of the Yellow River, envisioned as a haven for cultural exchange, and boosted by growth on the Silk Road, Yinchuan City in Ningxia is China's answer to their very own Istanbul. It aspires to be the hub for Chinese Arab businesses, despite being thousands of kilometers away from the Middle East. I meet local official who shows off their ever-expanding central business district.
我们想把这个地方打造成一个国际化、现代化这样一个城市，后面就要引进这个金融、保险、基金，还有一些大的这个企业。我们中央博览会已经在这里开过3届，那么今年9月份我们还要进行一次中央博览会。每年来到这个地方，国家有150多个国家。
Crazy is a good word to describe this. They're not trying to do it on a small scale. This isn't, a small experiment to see if it works. 75 square kilometers of, very modern China Arab city.
You could say that this busy worksite symbolizes the city's ambitious plan. Don't be fooled. Rising from the soil will be the tallest skyscraper in China's northwest, 300 meters high.
It's very adventurous and very brave what they're trying to do, to go from fields to the center of a city connecting China to the Middle Eastern world. Anywhere in the world was to do this successfully, it would be China.
As Yinchuan undergoes transformation, over 6,000 kilometers away, Istanbul is also rebuilding. Fueled by new developments on the Silk Road, the city is leveraging its rich heritage and redefining its historic role as a link between continents. The Yavuz Sultan Selim Bridge. To really come to terms with its scale and purpose, you have to be up close and personal.
Hey, Evan. How are you, man?
Engineer Evans Beg has lived and breathed this bridge for over 3 years.
It's massive. It's big. Did you ever imagine you'd be building such a bridge?
No, I never expected this kind of the bridge.
The widest suspension bridge on the planet is supported by 2 towers that dwarf even skyscrapers. It's a modern engineering feat, connecting east and west for a 3rd time over the intimidating Bosphorus Straits. Such an ambitious project means that the team is a multicultural affair.
More than 1,000 workers. So not only Turkish workers, but also Korean workers. Because in Turkey, this kind of the bridge is for the first time.
You didn't... Look.
Yes. It's normal.
You all look like ants up there.
To truly appreciate the grand scale of the project, I join Evan's team in the air.
Don't scare. Don't be scared.
Wow.
Okay, welcome to on top of the tower.
The magnitude of building something like this is just insane. And just the structure alone is like the symbol of the human spirit.
I can say that this is one of the masterpieces of human construct.
It's also the 21st century symbol of the new Silk Road.
So what is it that Istanbul anticipates from a new Silk Road? I will have to travel east to find out, joining forces with Liam as we retrace a journey made by many others before us. Our destination, Dunhuang. What will this remote region tell us about a future shaped by a new Chinese generation?
I actually do feel like I've stepped into China from 2,000 years ago.
Dunhuang, Gansu Province, China. Engulfed by the Gobi Desert, the city lies at the crossroads of the ancient Silk Road. I'm Liam Bates, and with my fellow traveler, Denise Keller, we're finding out how Dunhuang remains relevant on a 21st century Silk Road.
To really understand the modern Silk Road and what it means, you have to understand where it started. What was the original, real Silk Road?
Intersecting routes to India, Mongolia, and even Siberia, Dunhuang was an important gateway to and from the old capital, Xi'an.
Centuries ago, the legendary Chinese Buddhist monk Xuanzheng braved this desert on a pilgrimage to India. While it took him years to complete his journey, we managed this leg in no time with modern engineering. What does this accessibility mean for an aspiring Chinese generation? Perhaps Lawrence Xu has an answer. An international fashion designer, Lawrence has styled royalty and Hollywood stars. He was the first Chinese designer to show at Paris Fashion Week. For him, Dunhuang isn't just a place for spiritualism, but also for inspiration.
那个传承必其发展嘛，你必须把古老的东西融入到自己的设计里面去，可能会选择他们不同的特点的东西来进行对我的设计。
The iconic Mogao Caves of Dunhuang, also known as the Thousand Buddha Caves. It's here where Lawrence turns legends on stones into timeless fashion.
Isn't that amazing how they just like carved this entire temple out of a sand dune mountain?
It's pretty damn
How
cool.
did they do that?
Over 400 caves form the UNESCO World Heritage Site, home to a kaleidoscope of religious murals painted by pilgrims over the course of 1,000 years. Containing not only Buddhist art, but also other religions. The Mogao Caves is one of the greatest symbols of early cultural exchange.
中国的那个文化和历史太深厚了，而且那么久远，然后它要用1、2千年，而我们用一天或者几天是没有办法把它研究得更透的。但是我觉得它足以给我们带来很多的震撼，留下那么多的宝贝。
Look in this cave, and there's some things which are traditionally Chinese, and some which are clearly more of an Indian Buddhist influence, right? 就是各种想法、设计、历史、文化碰撞的这么一个地方。
How would you interpret this on the catwalk?
因为我觉得做一个设计师，他可能更多的是从色彩啊，以及那个历史的很多的变化的轨迹，找到我所需要的灵感。
Wow, look at that dress.
Every single thread doing this like gradient patterns.
Oh, it's cold. Wow. 很漂亮啊。
Haute couture is the highest art in fashion, and there is no boundaries.
He's taking art and creating new art.
Using ancient craft, but then modernizing it, bringing it to a contemporary level, and then exploding it to the world to see.
Xi'an. It was from here that a Chinese envoy named Zhang Qian first headed west in search of military allies, inadvertently opening up trade with the rest of the known world. And the most prized commodity was Chinese silk. But what defines the next chapter of China's growth? State-of-the-art high-speed rail. In less than a decade, China's high-speed rail network grew to be the world's largest. there are now plans to export their technology. At one of Xi'an's train depots, we meet manager Dong to check out the operation.
由我们动车段的检修作业人员对它进行一个检修和维护，然后才能够保证它下一趟这个在规定时间和这个公里内安全的运行回来。
In order to keep a comfortable environment, please do not smoke.
过去的那个火车吧，都是那种烧煤的、蒸汽式的啊，这个一跑起来就冒烟。现在这个动车呢，就是人的乘坐体验确实是很好。
I get a sense that their ambition is to aspire to what the Eurail is in Europe.
The world is going to be connected with these trains on these tracks, all made in China. You know, like the Silk Road again.
Hello.
This is Manager Zhao, who oversees the construction of the network's next most crucial element, its railroads.